Activated charcoal. This is the raw reality. You know, I keep it real with you guys. I've been bedridden for the last 4 or 5 days and barely eating, but finally feeling better today. So this is a new episode. I'm keeping it raw, and welcome back to Monday Diaries. So, the place is a mess right now. So I figured, why not clean it up while I talk to you guys? I've got a few notes here as usual. This is a weekly series where I just document in public my life, the business, and just talk about everything that's been going on. So still in Cape Town. I'm staying at a friend's house. Shout out Zoe. Thanks for the pad. She is in Ghana and a bunch of other places for a few weeks. So she offered her place very generously. And it is a total mess right now because I haven't really done much with it. I just had breakfast. Finally eating again. But it is a very nice place. I should do a tour at some point for you guys. But first, I'm going to start with a Art of Mondays update, like I always do. So, for those who don't know, Art of Mondays is a company that I launched. It's like a members club for founders. We just bring people together and all grow, both in our business but personally as well. And it's $4,000 a year right now. I think we're pretty due to put the prices up. We only accept about 20% of people that apply. It is application only. It's highly vetted. And right now we have about 15 members inside. We did all of this without a website, without branding, just a deck and a Stripe link, which is a funny thing to think about, you know, like the ability to create income or create things without them being legit and perfect, you know, and just starting and building an MVP and then making it better over time. So a few updates here. One, from a lead gen perspective, I'm posting every day on socials. Every day I'm posting a video. In this last week, I reached 1.9 million accounts. We had 26,000 profile visits, 3.5 thousand followers, and 388 people clicked on the link in my bio. I actually didn't track how many people applied off the back of that, but I think it was a handful. And we are actually accepting a few new people coming into March. So that's all happened kind of in the last week or so, which is exciting. So inside the community, we've just had our core group calls. The way that we do that is we pair founders with other similar stage founders, so either similar industry or similar traction, and then we just get on facilitated monthly calls for 2-3 hours, just go really deep into challenges as founders. We talk about ideas. We help each other on a really interpersonal level. Some really fun stuff came up this month, actually. The groups are quite diverse. You know, there's some people that are, everyone's vetted and has built something to some extent in the past, but we have people that are launching new products and businesses, and we have people that are having their biggest months. Dan last month did 600,000 USD across his sort of crypto and businesses, and we had another guy in there who did some work with, basically had Kanye West's team hit him up a few days before the Super Bowl and say, hey, we need some help. Our Shopify is kind of broken. We need to fix it. We need to build out marketing and advertising push in the lead up to the Super Bowl. And then he and his team actually handled that whole process. So that was cool to jam out about big things like that. We had another guy who wants to work out how to add $50,000 a month to his agency without increasing his overhead or without adding more of his time investment, because right now he's kind of at the cap. So went deep into solutions for that, how to actually make that possible. And there's actually many ways to go about doing it. So that was a cool reflection. That was all stuff that happened and conversations that happened within our monthly meetups, or virtual meetups, I should say. But something I'm super excited for is the actual in-person meetups, which we're calling founder residencies, and we're going to run ideally hundreds of them a year. But right now we've just launched our first one in the past week, and that's for members only. It looks like we've got 8 or 9 out of the 10 spots pretty much filled already, so it's been a huge response, which is epic to see. And for me, there's something about living with people intimately. I should actually be cleaning while I talk to you. There's something about living with people in an intimate setting that just can't be replicated in online spaces. You know, it's you come out of that with so much more depth in your connection, and ideas and conversations that just happen off the cuff that you just can't fabricate anywhere else. So I'm really excited for that. We're going to Greece. We've got 10 founders coming for 10 days at the end of May, which is really cool. It's in Milos. I haven't been there before, but I've heard many good things. A really epic little island there. And I'll probably overlay a deck over this and scroll through and show you what's involved in that. But we're going to run lots of those, so that's the first of many. That's kind of the Art of Mondays update for you all. Still more happening behind the scenes constantly. I kind of spoke about last week. We've been working really heavily on systems. We've been built out a cold email outreach strategy, which has actually been pretty effective. And if anyone's interested in that, I'm an open book. I'm happy to share how we're doing that. But basically gaining interest from other founders and acquiring members that way as well, not just relying on my audience, for example, or methods that require a lot of our time. We can actually delegate. So we've got a couple of, technically speaking, we're hiring. We've got a couple of VAs who help us with that. They're based in the Philippines. Mostly simple jobs, but they're pretty onto it. And yeah, that's how we're also planning to acquire members. But that's most of Art of Monday's update. As for life, I've been playing a lot of volleyball. Prior to getting sick, that is. I was playing a lot of volleyball. We got the social volleyball on the Thursday. You guys would have seen some of that. We've got the 2v2 I've been playing down at the beach with a few German guys who play at a very high level back home, like world champs or something like that. So it's nice playing against them because they're better than me. So it really elevates my game. And it's kind of like that, the whole concept of Art of Mondays, which is surrounding yourself with people that are better than you because it raises your standard, whether it's in business or life or habits or consciousness. So it's funny seeing that in real life just from a volleyball perspective. So that's been cool. I actually entered into a tournament on the weekend, and it was funny because that one was like a more competitive tournament, but I didn't have a partner to play with. The guy that I wanted to play with, he wasn't available. So I was like, okay, I need to find a partner. So I reached out to a guy I connected with just on social. He was also from Germany, played a lot of sport on his profile, and I think he just reached out a few weeks prior to say, hey, I'm going to be in Cape Town. You want to hang out when I'm there? I'm like, yeah, sure. So haven't met this guy, and I hit him up. I said, hey, do you play volleyball? And he goes, yeah, you could say that. And when I hear that, it means one of two things. One is they could play and they're very good, or two is they probably haven't played very much in their life. So I was like, well, I better follow up and just make sure that I'm not digging myself in a hole here. So I said, have you played any competitions? And he goes, yeah, in high school, in university, I did. So I was like, okay, I'll take my chances. Show up tomorrow. It was like 10 p.m. at this point, and the comp was the next day. So I didn't really have much choice. And I said, show up here and see you in the morning. Next morning rolls around. We had to meet there at 7:30. I didn't hear from him. It is now 8:30 or something. Fortunately, they're running a bit late, so it wasn't like a huge problem. Still hadn't heard from him, and then I got a call, and he's like, hey man, is it still happening? I said, yeah, come on down. So he rocks up, volleyball under the arm. I was like, this is a good sign. And anyway, we get put into a team, and it turns out he hasn't played a lot of volleyball. I commend him though, because he put in a red hot crack and was really high spirits about it all, and had played enough maybe to understand the rules. But when it comes to competition volleyball, I think it's clear when you haven't played a whole lot So it took us a bit to get into the swing of things. We still had fun with it. I think we got dead last in the end, but that was all. I mean, we were just there for the experience. I ended up playing some pickup games. Well, I met a few guys there that played at a pretty high level and went on to play a few games with them. So that was cool as well, but that was my volleyball experience. But yeah, I think while I'm here in Cape Town, I just want to be as active as possible. I mean, not in the last week. I felt pretty flat and not done very much, but in general, stay active, see some cool things, meet some cool people, and I'll be pretty happy. So that has been me. The last kind of interesting thing that happened was this boat party that we went on, but it wasn't a regular boat party. It was a pirate ship. You might have seen some clips of that on the weekend, and I mean, it was cool. I'm not a huge partier, so it was just a fun token thing to do. But one interesting way that they set it up was they had, I think the way they did it was they had all the guys pay a couple of $100 each, and then that covered the boat and all the alcohol and food, and all the girls got it for free, which is, I don't know if that's the way they do things around here, but all of the guys were like international, like guys who worked online and built their own things and were mostly international. So I think that's how they justified it. But I guess I was one of the girls because I didn't pay for it. I was invited on for free, so that was nice. But yeah, just interesting to reflect on the kinds of people that attracts, you know, and yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, I think there's some genuine people in the mix as well. But it definitely gave me a little bit of a Iman Ghazi kind of vibe. Yeah, I guess Iman Ghazi, you know, like people who maybe care a little bit about image and building businesses because they want to make money. And, you know, they're all legitimate reasons. That was a huge driver for me when I first started. I wanted to be financially independent. But I think maybe there's a line somewhere where, you know, I don't really care about fast cars and looking wealthy and all the rest. I think there's a level where I'm just happy to support the things that I want to achieve and then be able to help other people win as well. So that was it's always just interesting reflection to be around circles of other people who are starting to make some money and what they do with that and how they perceive themselves. And yeah, a big driver for Art of Mondays is to attract the conscious founders, the ones who aren't trying to be showy necessarily. They actually just care about living better lives and helping other people live better lives too. So yeah, but aside from all that, that was just an observation of mine. It was very fun. It was, as far as parties go, it was very fun. So yeah, that was the end of my week, and that pretty much concludes this episode of Monday Diaries. So I think I just walked up and back probably like 17 times, and that was about it. So I didn't really clean much, but thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to keep in touch with this journey, feel free to subscribe on YouTube. It's the only place I really talk in this candid way once a week. And yeah, I hope you start fucking with Mondays too. Peace.